All right, today we're going to deconstruct the intricate, brutal world of the action thriller The Hitman's Edge. Let's dive right in. Now, this line right here, this isn't just a catchy motto. It's the entire operating system for our protagonist. Think about what that really means. The goal isn't just to complete the mission, it's to erase yourself from the equation completely. You have to be a ghost. So that brings us to this term, a mechanic. And let me tell you, this is way more than just a guy with a gun. A mechanic is an artist of invisible death. They don't just show up and pull a trigger. No, they engineer situations. They make it look like an accident, a suicide, anything but what it really is. So here's our roadmap. We're going to look at this in 4 parts. We'll start in the cold, precise world of a professional killer, and then we're going to follow the path as it turns into red-hot vengeance. We'll see how a life built on order just completely descends into chaos. Okay, first up, let's meet our mechanic, Arthur Bishop. And, the best description of him comes from his own mentor, who just calls him, plain and simple, a goddamn machine. And he really is a machine. This guy lives a life of total, pristine isolation. His house, his routines, his entire life is calibrated for one thing: lethal efficiency. It's a world that has absolutely no room for messy human connections. Well, with one really big exception. And that one exception is Harry McKenna. He's Arthur's mentor, and let's be honest, his only friend. Harry totally gets the crushing loneliness of Arthur's life. So when Arthur basically admits Harry is the only person he has, Harry's comeback isn't just a joke, it's him diagnosing the truth, that Arthur has traded away his humanity for perfection. So you have this perfectly structured world, this fortress of solitude Arthur has built. Well, it's all about to get shattered by one single impossible assignment. An assignment that's going to turn his own rules right back against him. The big boss, a guy named Dean, calls Arthur in. He tells him a huge job in Cape Town went completely south. A total disaster. All 5 operatives dead. Dean says it had to be a leak, and he claims all the evidence points to just one person. And just look at how clinically this is all presented. Dean lays out this case that seems totally airtight. A huge, shady deposit, crushing personal debt from a bad divorce, and the perfect leverage point, a son who's a constant source of trouble. He's not just painting Harry as a traitor, he's painting him as weak, desperate, and cornered. I mean, can you imagine? This puts Arthur in an absolutely impossible spot. He's just been ordered to eliminate the one person on Earth he trusts. The man who taught him the code is now accused of breaking it. And then Dean delivers the final blow. Either Arthur handles it cleanly, or they'll send someone else to do it messily. So he does it. He uses his incredible skills to give his mentor a clean death. He even helps Harry get away from his own bodyguards, only to corner him. It's this quiet, somber, almost respectful execution. But this single act of loyalty to the organization, well, it sets him on a direct collision course with Harry's son. And this leads to the most volatile relationship in the entire story. Arthur takes on an apprentice, Steve McKenna, a kid who is just fueled by pure grief and a burning need for revenge. Steve is just consumed by this rage, and he goes looking for Arthur. But here's the kicker. He has no idea Arthur is the killer. All he knows is that Arthur was close to his dad. So in this moment of just unbelievable irony, he doesn't confront Arthur with suspicion, he confronts him with a demand. He wants Arthur to teach him the trade so he can hunt down his father's killers. And what's crazy is, Arthur agrees. But the training is anything but conventional. We're not talking about target practice. He's trying to rewire Steve's impulsive brain. He makes him adopt a dog to learn responsibility, makes him sit in a coffee shop for weeks on end just to learn patience and observation. Arthur's trying to teach him judgment, not just how to kill. And this chart just says it all. You've got 2 polar opposites. And when they start taking jobs together, that difference becomes seriously dangerous. Steve just ignores Arthur's careful plans, goes for brute force, and nearly gets them both killed. For Steve, emotion is what drives him. For Arthur, emotion is the liability that gets you put in the ground. But just as this messy, dangerous partnership is starting to take shape, Arthur stumbles onto a piece of information, and it's something that completely shatters the foundation of his entire world. The truth about Harry's death is about to come out.
So Arthur is at another operative's funeral, and he runs into one of the guys who was supposedly killed in Cape Town. And the whole story just unravels. Dean fabricated everything. He set up the mission to fail so he could collect a massive insurance payout, and then paid the one survivor to just disappear. Harry wasn't the mole. He was the one who was getting close to exposing Dean's whole rotten scheme.
And this realization just changes the game. The surviving operative says this to Arthur, and it just cuts right to the bone. It wasn't just that Dean manipulated him into killing his best friend. It was that Dean took Arthur's greatest skill, his precision, his judgment, his whole identity, and turned it into a weapon against him. He played him for a fool.
At that moment, it's not business anymore. It is deeply personal. Arthur, the ghost, stops being invisible. He and Steve become this methodical storm, just tearing through Dean's organization with one single goal: to get to the man who made him a pawn. When Arthur finally gets his hands on Dean, he doesn't just kill him. That'd be too simple. He delivers the ultimate professional insult. He uses the organization's own system to put a massive bounty on Dean's head, making sure Dean's last few moments are spent knowing everyone is coming for him. Then he finishes the job. So the big bad guy is gone. The story should be over, right? Nope, because during all that chaos, Steve found proof. Undeniable proof that Arthur was the one who killed his father. The man who taught him everything about revenge has just become the final target. The mentorship is officially over. Everything comes to a head at a remote gas station, the student versus the master. But Arthur is a mechanic. He is always thinking one step ahead. He anticipates Steve's move and rigs his own priceless car to explode. And it leaves us with this final explosive question. When your entire life is built on violence and betrayal, can there ever really be a clean getaway?